All right, gang, we are back with a very important topic. Fat bitches. Yes, I have extensive expertise on this subject, specifically heavyweight, female MMA, women's MMA, WMMA, because everything that happens in female MMA is a W. Let's get it, girl power. Um, I think the UFC needs a women's heavyweight division. No, I'm not joking. Why are you laughing? I'm waiting for you to apologize. Why are you laughing? That's sexist as fuck. I'm being serious because think about the era that we are in, right? Paramount has forced everybody's hand. We've got Movsar Evloev throwing hands for 3 minutes, for 3 full rounds against not Aaron Pico. You know who I'm talking about. His last fight. I always forget the dude's name. Lerone Murphy. We have Movsar Evloev throwing hands for 3 full rounds against Lerone Murphy. We have Jailton Almeida getting cut from this bitch. Thank God, Paramount, you are our savior. We have Charles Oliveira holding Max down for 5 rounds. Get him out of here. Apart from that, though, what has become very apparent, it is the entertaining fighters that are taking over. Paramount does not give a fuck about anything else. So, with that in mind, what would be more entertaining than anything else in women's MMA than introducing a heavyweight women's division? Spoiler alert, nothing. This is the GOAT idea. Paramount, I want 10% of all the revenue that comes from the heavyweight division specifically. Spoiler, that's going to be all the women's MMA revenue is going to be coming from that bitch. Because, let's think about it. Kayla Harrison, perfect fucking example. She is the most brolic and fucking physically imposing women's MMA fighter of all time. Yes, you could maybe argue Chris Cyborg, but put them side by side, bro, Kayla Harrison is like mean mugging her, physicality wise. Imagine the women's heavyweight champion of the world, bro, and what she's gonna look like. One punch from her, you are dissolving. You are exploding into atoms, bro. No, not in your pants, weirdos. I'm talking about the other woman who was fighting her in the cage. She is getting scattered into the wind, becoming solar dust, bro, returning back to the universe like a Pisces. Yes, cosmic vibes. So and look at men's heavyweight right now, right? Fucking trash. Women's heavyweight, on the other hand, what's the opposite of trash? Gold mine. Minecraft diamonds. I've never played Minecraft before, but I know diamonds are rare in that shit. Minecraft diamonds in this bitch. And I'm actually not sure how the weight divisions work in women's MMA. I think they are 1-to-1 carryovers from men's divisions. So say featherweight men is 145 pounds. I'm pretty sure featherweight woman is also 145 pounds. I think they could change that a bit. You know, they could make it say men's heavyweight is what? It's 205 is light heavy. So heavyweight, is it 220? 220 minimum? Something like that, bro. Instead of women's heavyweight being 220 pounds, you can make women's heavyweight like, I don't work in pounds. You can make it, 80 kilos. Like men's middleweight would be women's heavyweight. I think that would be good. Because, I was going to say, then you wouldn't have like super blobs all over the place. Yes, SSBBW action in the cage. You wouldn't have that going on. But then again, that's kind of the whole point. Know what I mean? So I think maybe they could do that. Maybe they could just keep it 1-to-1. Could you imagine a 120 kilo women's heavyweight champion. Could you imagine the title fight? Could you imagine the women's light heavyweight champion going up to heavyweight, having lighter women's skill, and smoking the heavyweight champ? 3 division, what's underneath light middleweight? Women's middleweight champ goes up to light heavyweight, smokes them, becomes a SSBBW heavyweight champ, 3 division goat shit. Amanda Nunes, who the fuck is that, bro? Get out of here. But it seems, like I said, it might seem like I'm joking. I'm not joking. I take this topic very, very seriously. And because, like I said before, I was talking specifically about Kayla Harrison, but men's MMA, so many stars, bro. Alex Pereira, Yuri Prohaska, Adesanya, obviously McGregor, you got Dustin, you got Gaethje, Ilya, like the list never fucking ends, bro. You can even go down the list and say people like Raul Rosas Jr., what's the Viking dude in lightweight? Rafael Fiziev to an extent, shit like that. Like Lopez, Alexander Lopez, Diego Lopez, Volk. The like shit never ends, right? Women's MMA. Who are the stars? Amanda Nunes, Kayla Harrison, Zhang Wei Li. That's it. I used to have Valentina in there. Gang, if we are cutting elite level boring fighters, Valentina's head might be next for the guillotine, bro. I used to also have Thug Rose in there. Who gives a fuck about Thug Rose anymore, bro? Boring as hell. So you only have these 3 women, and that's because they are fucking leagues above anyone else. Because women's MMA, it lags behind men's MMA, right? So if you get it's like the equivalent of John Jones in the early 2000s, right? He was the first true light heavyweight. He was his game planning, and he was a true mixed martial artist, bro. People like to really critique John Jones's resume and say he was just fighting bums and plumbers and shit. Like, yeah, you can make that argument. And so the point is that there was a very large gap, right? That gap still exists in women's MMA. These days, that gap has closed, bro. You seen John Jones, he'd lost to Dominic Reyes, bro. Yes, he lost that fight. That is the worst robbery I've ever fucking seen. But even a more recent example, look at Adesanya, bro. Falling off like fuck. Yes, he is washed, but you could also make the argument that his style has been figured out, and the other middleweights are kind of catching up. Well, not kind of catching up to him. They have surpassed him now. Because when he was champ, the only other real good middleweight was Robert Whittaker, and that's it, bro. But even Whittaker gets dusted now. Like Reina smoked them, bro. Well, not smoked them, actually. That was quite competitive. But you get the point that I'm making, right? Whereas with women's MMA, that huge gap still exists. Where it's just Valentina, Zhang Wei Li, and Amanda Nunes out in front of the pack, right? So that's the only way a woman can become a star, is you have to be a generational talent, because only 3 have done it. Whereas you throw a heavyweight women's division in this bitch, superstars are going to be coming out of your ass, bro. No, I'm not joking. I know that you're actually starting to click to what I say. This is the best move that you could do for women's MMA. And like I said, we're in the Paramount era now, where all they give a fuck about is entertainment. What could possibly be more entertaining? Renato Moicano versus an unranked lightweight, or the women's heavyweight champion defending her belt. That's a pretty easy one to me. Ain't no one taking piss breaks during that shit. Ain't no one going off to make food, bro. People are eating food while watching that. They're going to be inspired by that shit. Damn. Look at these athletes swinging leather. That takedown was insane. DC felt that all the way from the commentator's booth. Man, I need to bulk up. These women are putting me to shame. I'm a real life atom weight. I need to bulk up and get on my fucking shit, gang. That's what people are going to be saying. But I think, yeah, like and like I said, you don't necessarily have to go to the absolute extreme and have, yes, 1-to-1 male to female weight divisions. You could change it up because at the moment they have what? Strawweight, flyweight, featherweight. So cool. You could have those three 1-to-1 replicated from men's divisions. You don't necessarily have to then follow suit. You could then you know, like how I said, I'm kind of just repeating myself, but you could have like a welterweight and a middleweight, and they don't necessarily have to be as heavy as the men. But yeah, bro. Huh. BBW Championship. UFC? No. This is BBW FC, bro. I am here for that shit. That would be lit, bro. I know that you agree. And just imagine it. And it would be one of those things where people would be like, what the fuck, bro? This is ridiculous. You know what's fucking ridiculous? Men's heavyweight. At least with women's heavyweight, the shit would be entertaining, bro. Men's heavyweight is so fucking dog shit. You're just sitting there like, what the fuck am I watching, bro? Whereas with women's, the exact same statement interpreted in two completely different ways. Men's heavyweight. What the fuck am I watching, bro? Women's MMA. What the fuck am I watching, bro? Know what I mean? I just... It would be like the BMF belt, right? Remember when... No, I'm not saying... Oof, they could do a BMF women's belt, bro. When the BMF belt was first introduced, bro, it was a fucking joke. People were like, what the fuck is this? You got The Rock coming into the cage and putting a belt on Jorge Masvidal, bro. Wow. Yippee. It wasn't until Max Holloway got that shit and gave it legitimacy. Yes, I am never, ever going to stop glazing Max. Get it through your head. Max single-handedly gave that belt legitimacy when he got that shit. And so over time, the point of me saying that is that over time, yes, BMF first got introduced as a fucking joke. No one took that shit seriously at all in the slightest. Get this off the card. But over time, people get used to it. Then they go, oh shit. Now, you know, yes, I'm about to hate on Charles again. Charles, you are never living this down. Then it gets to a point where Max gave it so much legitimacy, you actually expect people to honor the rules of this belt. Yes, the unwritten rules that Max Holloway's aura alone projected onto everybody. You expect fighters, you expected Charles to stand up and throw hands in that bitch. No, he wanted to hug Max for 5 rounds. No, I'm never going to stop hating. And the same thing would happen with women's heavyweight division. You would introduce it, people would say, what the fuck is this? But then, I don't know, as more and more time goes by, you get more and more fighters in it. All of a sudden, these heavyweight women's divisions fights are the most entertaining shit on the card. You would need a Yuri Prohaska versus Alex Pereira 3 to make it more exciting. I bet you, you know? No, I'm not jinxing it. I am manifesting it. Let's get some positivity in this bitch, bro. Girl power. Anyone? I was going to say, let me know your thoughts down below. You better be agreeing with me or you are fucking cancelled. No, this video wasn't a joke. I'm actually like, okay, dead ass. Sound lame as fuck when I say that. Straight up. I'm being 100% serious. They should do this. You think this is a ridiculous idea? Giving Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett an interim title fight over Max and Charles. That wasn't ridiculous? What else? Giving John Jones the win over Dominic Reyes, since I already talked about that in this video. That wasn't ridiculous? What else? What's a more recent example? Sean Strickland jumping Nasruddin Imavov for the title shot against Hamzat. That's not ridiculous? Cyril Gane getting the decision victory over Alexander Volkov. I bet you forgot about that shit, didn't you? John Jones holding up the heavyweight division for 2 fucking years. That wasn't ridiculous, but a heavyweight women's division is? How fucking dare you? I, for one, expected better from you, and I am fucking appalled, bro. I'm really at a loss. I expected more out of you, bro. Yes, Paramount. I know you're gonna watch this video. Yeah, I have motion like that. I'm about to hit 100 subscribers in this bitch. And I know they're gonna take this idea. I want 10% of all revenue from the heavyweight division specifically. I am a generous overlord, bro. But that's all. Yeah. No cool little outro. I'm ending this bitch. Goodbye. BBW championships. Let's fucking go.